Welcome to the Goon Squad Sports Radio Podcast. First 40 is I, Boom, along with Black Door and Ice Water. I'm still in the lead. I'm holding on to 2 games. Stay tuned for some Buford T. Justice quotes. Black Door with that. Hey, I recognize that hat.
Buford T, baby.
Let's jump in, man, with the topics, bro. I wanted to talk a little bit of boxing, but I'm going to hold off on that a little bit until we get Ice Water in. But let's go to the story about the governor of California. He makes it official. College players are going to get paid. Black, what do you think about that, bro?
You know what? Beautiful, man. Beautiful. You know, we talked about this a few years ago, how NCAA has been taking advantage of these players. But it's just a tip of the iceberg, because I was listening this morning. There's a congressman who I believe it's in D.C. He's drawing up a bill to make it federal. And he says, he's been working with NCAA for the past couple of years. And they've been telling him to give him time. They're going to come up with something. He said they haven't come up with anything. So he wants it. He likes the bill in California, but some things about it he doesn't like, but he wants it to be federal. So the pants are starting to come down to NCAA, man. They've been dragging their feet. It's just a matter of time. But I think it's great. I think California was happy. Not only California, I believe North Carolina has a bill drawn up, South Carolina, a couple more states. So it's just a matter of time. It's closing in on them, bro. It's closing in. So either they're going to do the right thing or the right thing's going to be done for them.
The NCAA is doing a good job, I think, of not showing that they're panicking, but they have to be panicking behind closed doors with this bill being signed in California.
Well, I think panic is a very crazy word to say. That's one state. I think it's coming. I do think it's coming. But there's a lot of money involved. And I think one of the things they're going to try to do is, I was reading up some things that they're going to try to provide some loopholes to make it more difficult. Not saying that it's not going to happen, but to try to deter it or put it off as much as they can. I see that coming. I think there's going to be a lot of muddying the waters in regards to athletics, in regards to athletic directors as well. So from the standpoint of what I mean by that is, the question comes down to who gets paid what. Mm-hmm. And then the question is, they're talking about paying the players, but we all know this, how things go very, very quickly, that the best are the ones that will reap the benefits, not the average guy. And that leads to a whole different conversation. But my question is, how will others deal with that, knowing that they will not initially receive the benefits that our stars do or will?
Yeah, it should be very interesting, because I was telling some people today who were talking to me about this today. I said, if I'm a high school phenom and you're talking about paying me and you're trying to recruit me, I wouldn't even think about a state that's not paying me. I would go straight to California. So if I'm thinking that, you got to think that some parent or somebody has the ear of these high school phenoms saying, listen, you can go there and get paid and go to college instead of going somewhere like Alabama or whatever college in football, basketball. So I could just see that California is the first one doing this. If other states don't latch on, then California is going to be getting the top recruiting classes, both in football and in basketball. But let's move on from that. We'll talk about that in our overtime. I want to talk about the fight in the glamour division. I've heard that's the first time I heard it this weekend. Ice, the glamour division between Earl Spence and Porter. I thought it was a good fight. I thought in the 11th round where Spence put Porter, he kind of knocked him down, didn't knock him out. He said he was going to knock him out. And I just thought it was a great fight. I thought that Spence took the fight to Porter, and I think Porter was shocked that Spence was fighting Porter's fight. And so I want to get your comments on this particular fight.
Well, first of all, it was an excellent fight. It was a great fight. It lived up to the billing. Mm-hmm. It really did, and that's hard to say. Black Door, if you haven't seen this fight, bruh, you need to check it out. I adhere to you to Open up your mind, Black Thor, and see this fight. Not
take
heavyweight.
Gotta take our head off first.
Yeah. Anyway, yeah, so you can see something. Anyway, but but no, it was a great fight, and the factor that it was so action packed and so many people, it left so many people guessing, was amazing because you didn't know how to score it. But what I find interesting after doing some more research, and I did agree that Spence won the fight, despite the fact that I don't think it was just a knockdown. But the numbers don't lie, and the numbers show a couple of things. While Larry Hazard gave the fight to Porter, he gave Porter the first 4 rounds, and he gave him a number. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. So he gave him another round. But the whole point of this is the one thing about the punches. I think they had only thrown. There was only a difference of 1 punch difference between the both of them. And here's the difference that I think people you would recognize that the judges for Spence were on point. When you looked at the power punches, Spence actually connected on about 44% of his power punches compared to about 26% from Porter. Yeah. That's all you need to know. That's all you need to know when you think about that and the damage that was done. Now, Porter threw a lot of punches, but you think about the connections and you think about power. You think about jabs, but when you think about power punches, that's a hell of a difference. 44% to about 20 and some change, actually 25%. So 44 to 25% difference. That was the amounts for the percentage of power punches, which to me says Porter was right on point with that, even though it was a nasty, ugly fight and hard to decipher between.
Yeah, it kept you engaged. I don't know if you saw this fight, Black.
No, I'll yield my time to you gentlemen on this, man. I didn't get a chance to see this one. I'm sorry. Okay. I will take a look at it, though.
One of the things that really surprised me, Ice, and I texted you during the fight, is that Porter's corner, his dad was saying, give him the body, we'll just take the head. Let him have the body, we just take the head. I've never heard a corner man give that advice to a boxer before, and it didn't make sense to me. And Spence was taking the body, and I think that was a determining factor of the fight, getting him tired, and which led to the knockdown in the 11th, and then taking over the 12th.
Yeah, I agree with you 100%. And I think that the reason why his dad even said that in the corner, because they had never been, it was uncharted waters for them. They never had anybody that was backing the son up like that. Somebody that was fighting the same fight, including the low blows. It was like he had nobody that literally was coming for him and not running. And Porter was usually being the aggressor. I do think this, though. I do think Porter fought a hell of a fight because we talked about initially the style change, having to be versatile when it's time to punch, when it's time to go forward, and it's time to back up. I think he did one hell of a job in that matter. I think he showed us that he's a better fighter than I ever thought he would be, because Spence is the real deal. And he waited, and he's still challenging to the very end. Even when he got knocked out, he went after it. Knocked down, he went after it. And he showed me that he's really becoming a top-notch fighter. And I think a lot of people, they will not really they'll be afraid to accept that challenge from Porter, particularly if he fought the way that he did in this last fight. Because he showed me some things that I was like, that's championship caliber right there. You're when there was one of the best, if not the best, welterweight pound for pound right now. And he was holding his own. Now, he more than held his own. He was in a fight. I'm not sure who else can really handle that. Can Danny Garcia deal with that? We know Keith Thurman does not want any more of that smoke.
All right, we're going to table this to our overtime because there are 4 fighters that are out there that we're going to name in our overtime. We'll talk some more boxing about Spence that is next for Spence. I don't think any of these guys want, except Sean Porter. I don't think any of these guys want this guy. They may be saying in the public, but they don't want him. They've been avoiding him for a long time. But the heavyweights, Black only watches the heavyweights. So Wilder and Ortiz too, man. That's coming in November. That's coming right before Thanksgiving, Black. Looking forward to it.
Real men getting in the ring. Yes, I am looking forward to that, man. I tease about boxing, but no, I will pay attention to that one. And I'm going to try to catch this fight too, because I was honestly thinking about buying this fight. And Saturday night came up and I got busy doing some other things, but to show my interest, I was seriously considering putting money down. Now, I don't believe in putting money down for boxing, but this fight I will take some time out to take a look at. But yeah, man, when heavyweight starts to battle, when the big punches are thrown, yeah, they got my attention.
Man, I got to put you onto the fire stick, man. You'll never pay for another fight again.
No doubt. Look.
You just got to tell me how to do it, brother.
Hey, Puma.
Yeah.
He need to go ahead and get that fire stick so he can keep making them beautiful hats he got over there looking like a remake of Telly Savalas. Oh, Jack.
All right, let's get your eye test. Let's get your eye test, Black. The NFL. One of my things that I was talking to my dad about earlier is that the Road Dogs were winning this Sunday. I've never seen so many Road Dogs win on Sunday. But I'll kind of give you the floor, man, and give you your eye test, Buford T. Justice.
I think week 4, man, gave us a lot to digest, man. I got to start with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. I did not see that coming.
No.
Tampa Bay. And I know they're still trying to put that team together like a mosh pit, but they went up to Los Angeles and punched him in the mouth, man. And it's starting to be shown that they gave this quarterback way too much money, the Rams I'm speaking of, and they're trying to basically force feed him to earn that contract. It's not going to happen. I don't know if they're trying to save Gurley for the end of the season, but something's going on wrong there. I was impressed the way that Oakland played. Oakland kind of went out and did some things. I was impressed with them. Also, I look at Houston and I'm just complex because I think they have a good quarterback, but that cat's not going to last long. And there's some games that they should win and they barely just don't show up. And it's real surprising to me, man. But the Detroit Lions are for real, bro. Detroit Lions. I know when they hired this coach, I kind of was like, Bill Belichick disciple, but he's got something going on. Man, they have brought in. And even though they lost Sunday, they're playing some very good, aggressive football. No one's paying attention to them. And I think also, man, what I kind of hate to say it, but I think Chicago losing their starting quarterback might be a good thing for them, bro.
I agree.
Yeah, because it's funny how when Daniels came in, they was letting him sling it, and all of a sudden they kind of took it away from him. Let him throw the ball, man. If they can get him to play, and I believe he can play, that defense with him, they're going to be tough to beat. I was a little surprised that Green Bay, how they kind of got punched in the mouth a little bit and kind of faltered it. But Philly stepped up, man. Philly was, they was calling the carpet, and I guess they went back and watched some videotape because Philly stepped up and played some very good football. But it was a good week. It was a very good week of football. And like you said, a lot of the road teams went out there and kind of smashed some teams in the mouth. And I'm gonna leave this because I want to leave stuff for Ice and you guys to really speak on. But I will say this, and I think I might have texted this Sunday or Monday. Dak better sign that contract, and he better sign it now. Because I'm telling you, man, bro, you're not ready to be in the top echelon. I mean, and I'm not trying to knock him. I think he's grown a lot. But a $35 million quarterback wins that game Sunday night. It's just that simple. You win that game. When they're shutting down Zeke, they're basically telling you, we don't trust you to beat us. And that's when you got to step up and you got to flourish. And he didn't. He just didn't. He had some decent passes, but if you're asking for 30, 35 mil, you got to put that team on your shoulder. You got to carry them to victory. It's just that simple.
I figured out why Green Bay gave up Cobb because he dropped a few passes Sunday that is like, okay, now I see why Green Bay got to let you go. Ice, give me your eye test.
Yeah, a lot was going on. When I look at it, I got to start with Detroit Lions defense. Okay, think about that. Patrick Mahomes throws for over 400 yards, no touchdowns. That's amazing, man.
Yeah.
We know how dangerous he is. That is amazing. We know how dangerous he is. So their defense has really been shocking. I think if they had a little bit more offense going, they could be a lot better. But still, they've won a few ball games, and they battled so-called one of the beasts of the league in Kansas City. Also, too, you got to give love over to when you think about Jameis Winston. Yeah, I know, famous Jameis. 360-plus yards, 4 touchdowns. And they beat the Rams. I mean, they beat them soundly. I will say I think that the Rams, I think Todd Gurley really didn't touch the ball at all. I don't know if he was hurt or whatever, but that's a mess over there. And you can say what you want to. They're losing it very quickly, and nobody's been able to find that out. And I just think it's going to be interesting to see how they go the rest of the way. Every week I think it's going to be a challenge. Got to give kudos out to the Jacksonville Jaguars. Leonard Fournette, man, he finally showed up. 225 yards. and he just got stronger the longer that the game continued on. Amazing from his standpoint. And also, too, one of my favorite ex-Bears, Jordan Howard, showed up for Philadelphia, scored 3 touchdowns. And I think that they definitely could use him if they had kept him around, because I think that's part of one of the things that they're missing. They thought that Cohen was going to come along with the other younger player, running back, was going to really give them a boost, and they have not received that as of yet. And last but not least, you got to give love over to Tennessee and the Mariota, 227 and 3 touchdowns. Winning ball games, I think they should win a lot more because of their defense, but that's not always the case. But on Sunday or on this weekend, they were impressive.
Yeah, I'm going to go back to the Chicago game. I actually think that their backup quarterback is better than the starting quarterback. He runs the offense better. And when I saw that Trubisky went out, I'm like, the Bears going to win this game because he just runs that offense. I thought that last year when he was out, that he runs the offense. I'm more worried about him if I'm an opposing team at quarterback than Trubisky, because this guy, they were talking about it on the radio today, he knows when to make the right moves at the right time, as far as giving them a little bit more time in the pocket instead of just taking off. And the way he throws the balls are more accurate. He's leading the receivers. He just knows how to run that offense a little bit better. It just seems like he has more command. You see Trubisky, it seems like he's really lost. So if I'm Chicago, I'm not rushing Trubisky to come back anytime soon. If you really want to, even though they scored, 16 points, that was just enough to win the game against Minnesota. And I picked the bad Kirk Cousins this week. And when you got your pop texting you like, how much did they pay this guy to play quarterback? There's a problem. $80 million guaranteed. And this is, you come out of halftime with a plan and you give up the ball like that. And from then on in, I just turned the TV off because you knew Kirk Cousins wasn't going to bring that team back against that defense. He was seeing ghosts. And Mac just came to play. The Raiders should be kicking themselves every day for giving up a Hall of Fame linebacker.
Black Thor woke up, didn't you, Black Thor? He know about them Bears.
Yes, sir.
He know about them Bears.
Oh, hell yeah.
There goes the hat. I was really surprised on how the Giants played well against, in a way not. But getting a look at Jones, man, I can't say nothing bad against Jones, but it was against Washington. So, and we're going to talk a little bit later about Gruden. I think it's his last. I think they're playing taps right now. He can't decide on a quarterback. He might as well just go with Haskins, take his severance pay, and just move on, because that's a bad situation there. And I just don't see him being there at the end of this week. I was really surprised that Indianapolis didn't show up against the Oakland Raiders, but the Oakland Raiders played really well. Kansas City, I think Detroit gave Kansas City everything they wanted in that game. And Kansas City was able to, when they left that so much time on the clock, I'm like, Mahomes is going to bring them back. And he's just fun to watch. I said it last week, he's just fun to watch. I was really surprised that Baltimore let Cleveland come in there and I was really surprised at that. You don't come to Baltimore and do them like that.
Ooh.
So maybe Baker Mayfield and that crew had a chip on their shoulder because people were calling them out, and they had something more to play for. They were more motivated to play. I was surprised that Houston got beat by Carolina, but it seems like that quarterback is playing well. And Green Bay, you had 2 shots to tie that game and win that game, and you didn't do it. And I was surprised because that's Aaron Rodgers' time right there. And I even text you too. It was like, tell me they had 2 shots at it and they couldn't get it done. And so maybe there's some, maybe there's something going on with that offense where they're really not really sound on offense. And Philly has something to play for. This was Philly's season right here. Any other thoughts, Black?
I got a quick question, man. It's not basic on the field, but did you guys see the interview? Not the interview, or the YouTube video of Cam Newton?
No.
You haven't seen it, Ice?
No, I did not.
You got to see it if you can. And the cat has done a LeBron James. He's sitting there with a hat on, a neck tied on, a scarf tied on his neck. He's smoking a cigar and he's drinking a glass of wine in a dark setting. And he literally says, I can play. I really can play, but it won't be the quarterback you're used to seeing out there, so I'm not going to play. So I'm going to let them play until I'm ready to play. And then when I come back, I want to be the number one in play. And I'm like, he doesn't get it, bro. I don't know what Cam is drinking. I'm not even going to say he's doing anything else. But that team is moving on without him. Carolina's moving on without him, bro. It's no way you're going to – and he did this on YouTube on his own.
Wow. I don't get folks that kind of put themselves on social media like that, and it goes against the grain of what the team wants, putting themselves in jeopardy. It's almost like 45 has got people being stupid on Twitter and putting themselves on. I don't know what it is, but people see that and they interpret it one way and they use that as evidence to get you out of there. Look what happened to Antonio Brown and Odell Beckham. All these folks to put themselves out there like that. I haven't seen it. I don't even know if I want to see it. But Ice, you got any words with this, man?
Yeah, I don't understand it. Maybe since he's in a dark place, literally outside of the cameras. But I mean, it does not make a lot of sense to me in that regard as to what he's doing. And the team needs him healthy. He's not, so they're going to move forward. The one thing I will say, maybe this comes back to the offensive coordinator too, and maybe they've been talking to Cam about this, but they have so many weapons on that team. And even with this quarterback that they have now, he's still not using all of the weapons properly. They could be very dangerous. They have a lot of weapons on that team, and they continue to still struggle to move that ball and use all of those weapons.
Like, it sounds like he wants to be the star. He wants to be the guy. And Carolina's like, we can't win with you just being the guy. You got other weapons that you need to use. If you can't utilize them, maybe it's time for us to part ways.
I think so. I said it last week. I'll say it again. He's not guaranteed a contract with them next year, bro. They can cut him and have $2 million against the salary cap. And the thing is, you have the team playing better without you. And just think about what he said. I can play. Remember Pat Riley said, if you can play, what should you be doing? You should be playing him, bro. And he's not even with the team. He's not traveling with them. He's not on the sidelines. And you put out a YouTube video saying, I can play. What does that do to the locker room? You're not there. How can you leave them? You can't. I mean, he doesn't realize, but he's cutting the little rope that he has. He's cutting it and just nipping it away. And, at the right time, they'll sit him down and talk to him about it. But I don't think he's going to be wearing a Panther uniform next year. I don't care if this kid, I hate to call the man a kid, the quarterback that's playing, I think he's playing very well. But I think even if he does start to falter, I don't think Cam will be there next year. I just don't think he'll be there. Now, will another team pick up a free agency? I don't know.
Yeah, looking like Uncle Horace, man.
Bears.
Are the Bears to pick him up?
Hell yeah.
Oh, I don't know about that.
What you mean? What you mean you don't know about that?
Personally, this is my personal feeling. I don't think Chicago Bears, the organization, like black quarterbacks, to be honest with you.
Okay, I get that.
But they had a couple, and they just shipped them out of here as soon as they gave more leeway to some of these guys like Trubisky and all these other folks. Right. They did not do it. Vince.
I don't even remember them having a black quarterback.
Huh?
I don't even remember Chicago ever having a black quarterback.
They had Vince Evans a long time ago. They got the guy from Florida years ago. That's just not who they are.
Now, I understand that, but they can use him. He can help them.
I will say this, though, man. I think by the end of the year, I think Chicago's going to make a decision on Trubisky. I really do. I think this coach is going to sit down and say, they got to make a decision, man. He's not owed a lot of money, and he's not going to get it. That was a bad draft. It's just at some point, you got to realize you made a mistake and cut your losses, man. He doesn't – you don't have it. He just doesn't have it. He just doesn't.
Let me stay with you real quick, Black, on this with John Gruden with the Washington football team, man. How long do you give him?
It's interesting because I don't know even if you cut him, I don't think the team's going to be any different because it looked like to me they haven't had a training camp. It's like they're out there. What are they doing? And I find it interesting where to me, I guess he's trying to save his job. He spent more time trying to get the other quarterback up to speed than the rookie that you drafted. And it's obvious that he didn't let this rookie and Haskins in training camp do anything. You throw him out there, it's like, okay, go play like you're in Ohio State. That's not going to work. So it's like he's just week to week. And you can just, to me, right now, your team should start to take a little identity, a little forward. What is the Washington? What are they? What do they do? Do they run? Do they tackle? I mean, it's just, they're a mess. So I don't know if you fire him now, it's not like it's going to help your season. And I don't know it's going to help the season because Haskins, as much as I wanted the Giants to draft him, he's not ready to lead their team. There's no disrespect to him. He's not ready. Probably because they didn't spend any time with him in the preseason. They really didn't. They thought they were going to sit him for you. Even if you're going to sit him, you got to kind of get him ready just in case. There's no way you should put all your eggs in that little quarterback's basket. So I'm going to give him another 3 weeks. I'm going to give him 3 more weeks, and then I think they're going to be forced to decide to do something. But it's horrible, man. But big talk up here in New York, the Jets coach, they want him out of here. Nobody's talking about it.
Yeah.
But Adam Gates, nobody's talking about him. But he's another coach, man, that he may not make the whole season. Because even if you lose your quarterback again, this team looks unprepared. He's calling them out week 1. Wait a minute, you're coaching them.
Mm-hmm.
You're coaching. So he's another one. Another coach, man, I'd be surprised if he makes it the whole season. I definitely going to get fired all season. Atlanta Falcons head coach got to go. That coach got to go. He got to go, man. That team has not been right since the comeback from the Patriots. It's just you watched him week out and week in. It's something wrong, man. You got to go.
Take Matty Ice with him.
Yeah.
Hand in hand. Ice, I'd really be, after the spanking they're going to take with the New England Patriots, I would be surprised if he survives the manhandling by Belichick in this next game, if this coach survives this, because I think they're going to look so bad going up against the New England, a real football team, that, ownership is going to go, you know what, let's cut the ties right now because, we can't take this.
Yeah, but if you do that, he's already probably lost the locker room, but there has to be another person that they respect on that staff that can at least tread water with that team. And if that's not available, you might as well ride the sinking ship out, in my opinion. Because you don't have a assistant coach on there that they go, yeah, hey, we'll rally around him. He's a good guy. He's kind of about the X's and O's, and he's just at least going to let us all play. We can all get behind him. Then if not, you're going to be in trouble because the issue that they have right now is the fact that Gruden was forced to put Haskins in. He was forced to, because when you thought about it, when I looked up and I was reading the ticker, it said that he had made the switch because the other quarterback was so bad. He was that bad early on in the first half. So he went and just did the switch when he clearly says he doesn't really care for putting Haskins out there. He wasn't a big fan of them drafting Haskins as high as they did. But when the guy that you call your number one is struggling that bad and you have to turn to a rookie quarterback, that tells you something. That really tells you something about this team. And I'm not, like I said, you can get rid of him, but you have to have a solution. You just can't, he's horrible, he's out of here. You have to have somebody on that staff that's capable. Maybe perhaps what we'll do is look at the rest of that staff to see if there's somebody that might have some head coaching experience that can at least shoulder the load the rest of the way.
I'm going to stay with you, Ice, on this one. You're closer to Cincinnati than me and Black. Vontae, man, being suspended for the rest of the season. I saw this coming. I can't believe he couldn't see this coming. And the NFL is cracking down on these dirty hits and things of that sort, trying to protect the players. And this is a guy that put Antonio Brown on. After that hit, Antonio Brown's never been the same. But what do you think about this? He's trying to appeal the suspension. And should the Players Association be trying to back him up?
Well, first of all, that's their job. They're supposed to do that. They're supposed to. It's not murder. It's not, abuse from the standpoint of a woman. So that's part of what they're supposed to represent in that way. Whether or not he wins, that's a different ball game. The whole season, I can see how they did that. I was quite surprised by it. I was. And I know he's been doing some things and he's kind of a loose cannon. But when I thought about this, and they're trying to set a precedent, okay, I get that. Very quickly, I'll say all this too. But first thing came to my mind, and I went and looked up some dang on stats. I said, how in the hell can you get rid of him and not get rid of Adama Suh? Are you kidding me? I'm just saying. Adama Suh 8 times since 2014. 7 player safety violations, and he went after Baker Mayfield. I mean, to me, it's tit for tat. It's the same dude, except Adama Su's an all-pro. He's a better guy, better player. Other than that, it's the same dude. The Adama Su drop kick, fell down and kicked the guy in his groin when he was rolling over. Dude, I mean, I don't see the difference. All I'm saying is it comes back to favoritism to me. So get rid of Burfict. But Adama Su, really, he got to go. Him too. The next time he got to go too. What's the difference? Tell me a difference, please. Somebody help me. Because I'm damn sure talk about it in overtime.
I think Sue got a future in the WWE. I truly do. Black, what do you think about this?
Well, Sue, it's funny. Sue's a dirty player, but Sue does an element of the play. He just does. He doesn't go to your head. He's dirty. And there's always been dirty players in the NFL, man. We tend to laugh at them, and a lot of players want them on their team. Burfict is just basically saying to the NFL, I don't care. I know you suspend me for this. If I get a chance to do this, I'm going to do it just who I am. I think it's going to be reduced. I think they're going to probably get maybe 6-day game suspension. I don't think it's going to be the whole year. It's going to probably get, when the arbitrator sees, it's going to bring it back down a little bit because, you talked to him before, but if you don't have it in writing where after so many times of this, you're banned, it's going to be hard to ban him for the rest of the season. So I think it's going to get reduced. But at some point, man, this cat got to understand, I don't think he ever will, that he just can't go to the head. I mean, you could hit him hard anywhere else. You got to do that, bro. You just can't launch off and hit somebody in the head. In reality, they're trying to make the sport safer as they can, if they can. But at the same time, when you have a team like the Raiders who wants to basically make a splash and whatever, signs them is what you're going to have. And I think the league would prefer to have him out of the league. I think the NFL would love to have him just not even be in the league. But I do think it's going to get reduced. And compared to some of the other hits I've seen, that one wasn't that bad. It just wasn't. Yeah, it wasn't that. I mean, it was bad, but it wasn't that bad to some other head-on collisions I saw.
Yeah, I'm not sure if they're going to reduce it because every year he seems to do something that just gets worse and worse. And maybe they're trying to send a message to everybody like, listen, we're tired of talking to you about this. You all know the rules. You're all supposed to be trained on this. Ice, if you want to talk about a little bit more. I know Sue has done some egregious things, but, he seemed to have calmed down in the last year or so.
Did he?
He hasn't been caught.
Okay, whatever, man. Whatever. Calm down. You just like him.
He hasn't been caught.
Like him. Huh?
So if you're not, you can't, you can't call it if you can't catch it.
I mean, with that, but just look at the number of fines he's had too, and player safety violations. All I'm saying is, if you don't like Burfict and Burfict went to the head, I get that. But there's no way you can tell me that shooting, like Blackthorn said, is in the play. If you go at somebody's head and it's still in the play, it's still a bad call. I'm just saying, the dude is dirty. He was dirty in Detroit. He's dirty wherever he goes.
You had a guy, I think if I'm not mistaken, I think it was week 2 or week 1, you had a guy for Cleveland that basically kicks a guy in the head. I think we have a tendency the first week. They threw him out of the game, but here again, that's like in the style of the play of the game is going on. Burfict is actually basically taking the rule from not going to the head and purposely saying, you know what, I'm going to do it anyway. And that's what they don't really like about him. He's just really just going anyway, just, you know what, I'm aiming, yeah, you suspended me last, you know what, I'm going to do it again. And that's what they're trying to get rid of. So I think that's what sets them apart.
I can see that, but I'm going to tell you, when the brother kicked out the guy in Cleveland, that was malicious, bro. So if it's inside the play, he should have been I'm sure he has a black belt in karate. He could have been Bruce Lee. Dude, he kicked the dude directly. So even though it's inside the play, it was egregious. It was crazy.
Okay, but what about choking? There was an incident where ODB
I like that. I like that, bro. I ain't mad at that.
Ice. What should happen there?
I like that.
Hey, man. Hey, but like Blackthorn said, it's inside the play, man. So it's all good.
I like that, bro. I ain't got no problem with that.
It's inside the play. Look, hey, Puma, it's inside the play. So it's good.
Well, the thing is, if I'm correct with this, didn't OBJ take a punch at him first?
Yeah.
Yeah, you know what I mean? So it's like, to me, if you fighting, that's what you get, bro. You get choked out. I'm sorry, man.
They didn't see OBJ first. They didn't see OBJ throw the punch though. You know how they do. They didn't see him throw the punch.
First. Yeah, you swing first. It's like, they must be saying something to OBJ, man, because whatever reason they're getting in his head. And I got an idea what they're saying to him. They got to be saying something, bro, because whenever he's fighting like that, there's got to be a word they know they can say to him that gets him off his game. Because he wasn't even he wasn't even at that game last Sunday. He wasn't even there.
Hey.
Yeah.
Now, they already know that you think you're a pretty boy, you in Cleveland. Watch this. You know how we do.
Wow. Wow.
Cold red.
All right, 5 minutes left, man. I saw this happening. I was telling you guys throughout the whole year, the Cubs get rid of Joe Madden, and he's a scapegoat for this because I just don't think that he got fairly treated from, players being injured, suspended, not really coming out to play hard as they were usually doing in the first 5 years. And I think the Cubs kind of expect a lot more than what their talent really has at this particular point.
I'll say this. The one thing that they have going in their favor is the fact that they have Theo Epstein still as the general manager. He can get things done. He's a great mind. But Joe Madden made it happen when nobody else was doing it.
Yep.
He actually, they were able to win a championship. That's what people forget real quick. It's like, what have you done for me lately? But hell, when's the last time you won a championship? Let's be real about that. So I think he is a scapegoat. Nothing lasts forever. I get that. But I think at the same time, notice Joe Madden was not mad at all. He was like, all right, I'm straight. I'm going to go over here. Somebody will call or I'll retire. He did the do in Chicago. So love him or hate him, say what they want to. He won the championship. And at the end of the day, that's what they say. They're better off than when he was there, than from the time that he's leaving. So I hope he lands somewhere. If he wants to coach, I think he's a heck of a mind. This is a guy that when he was before he came there, he took a small market team and made some magical things happen. Then he comes to Chicago, who are perennial losers. Let's be real. Be real about that. I know y'all hate me out there in Chicago. It's all good. Perennial losers, not able to do something in the postseason, and he got it done. What else are you supposed to do?
Right.
And that comes down to management, as you mentioned, injuries and some other things. So he did the best he could do, and c'est la vie. Just remember, enjoy your championship. Cleveland would love to have one. Anyway.
Yeah, I think they'll land in their feet. Black, you want a little bit of this?
Yeah, I agree, man. I think basically, you got to realize sometimes after you win, what is your motivation?
Yeah.
And I think that's what kind of caught up with the team. I probably caught up with him. And it says once you win, you achieve that. Either you're going to become hungrier or you're going to become a little lazy and content. And they probably became content. And I don't think that's no fault of his. But I do think in firing him or letting him go, I still don't think he's using him as a scapegoat. It's just time to go in a different direction. It really just is, man. It's just time to go in a different direction. He's accomplished what he needed to do. It's time to move on. No shame in that.
Yeah, I think he'll land on his feet. They're already talking about San Diego and some other teams out west, and I think he'll land on his feet.
White Sox?
Huh?
White Sox?
Hey, I think they would take him.
I know they would, so don't say it.
Take him. They would take him in a heartbeat. Black won the NFL picks last week with a 8-7 record. I'm 2 games up, still 2 games up. Sitting up in first class, baby. Hey,
Black Door.
Yes, sir.
Got those scissors out. The lead.
Slowly but surely, cutting that lead.
Still not worried. Still not worried.
You can't make it back the first quarter. What's Pop saying now? Well, I heard Pop talking 2 weeks.
It's a rough week.
Pop been mobbed for 2 weeks.
Pop said, what happened last week? I'm like, I don't know, Pop. But we do our picks on Blog Talk Radio, 90-minute overtime, so catch us there. We are the Goon Squad Sports Radio Show. We'll see you in overtime and see you next week on YouTube. Subscribe.
Later. Anybody want a church fan? Hot as hell up in here.
Later.
3D, baby.